Hi, my scrappy friends. So I have a new layout for you today, and I am taking a break from December Daily just for a few days. I just feel all done with December Daily, and I know I am like so almost done. I'm like halfway done with 21, so I will be finishing that up this week. But today I thought for the new year I would do a New Year's challenge. Jen Scow, I think that's how you say her name. Uh, on YouTube, but she's also on Nicole Jones' Facebook group. She presented us with a challenge for the new year to use a recipe. And for the recipe, I will say it real quick. We needed 3 pattern papers, 2 cardstocks, oh, some washi tape, a flare badge, 2 die cuts, a dash of metallic, and sprinkles or like splatters. So I am using a background that I made a while back with watercolor, and I did it similar to how I did my one Christmas layout where I did the triangles, but this time I used a ruler. I didn't tape this process because I didn't know exactly how it was going to turn out or whatever. So I was just doing this like it took a while to do. So, but I used my ruler, and so I really wanted it to be a lot more even, but I did do like an ombre, so it's darker on the top than on the bottom. And then I took some stamps. So I used some Stampin' Up ink, and then I used another ink that is like a shimmery color. It's Brilliance, and the color is Aurora. And I used that with Dear Lizzie stamps. So I put some stamps just randomly throughout the page, and you probably won't really see them unless it's on a close up. They're pretty faint, and I really just wanted them to blend in. So I am using my Scraptastic kit for December, which is Heartbeats, and I just have the regular kit. So I don't so I'm going to be adding a few of my own things to this. It's very Amy Tan inspired, and then it has some like Maggie Holmes type stuff as well. So what I'm doing right now is I want to add some more card or pattern paper without it being too busy, right? At first, this was my thought process at this point. So I'm going to take some of this paper from Kaiser Craft, and it's from the Hello Today collection, and it's like different wood grains. And so I'm going to take the light color and I'm going to cut them into triangles. And at first you see me just kind of playing around because I wasn't sure if I wanted to cut it up, how I wanted to cut it up. So I tried a few different things and that just didn't work. So I'm going to use some of my edgers, and then I'm just going to place them. And at first I was going to stick it one over, and then I decided that I wanted it to kind of touch where the photo is going to be. That is the place that my photo is going to pretty much live in, that corner. A lot of times when I start a layout, I kind of think about what corner I might want or where I want to put my photo. Do I want it up at the top? Do I want it 2/3 in the middle? I tend to not like to do middle because it can look floating, and I just find that style is a little bit difficult for me. Anywho, and plus, if you do it in the middle, you really can only use like one picture. So, not that I don't use one picture most of the time, but so here I'm kind of playing around. I put those triangles down and I just randomly put them in, but I did have to touch the photo because I wanted them to kind of connect with the photo. So I knew I wanted to use that Stargazer paper from Gossamer Blue. I really like both sides. Either side would have worked, but I really kind of thought that that dark side kind of looked nice. And when I had laid it there, I actually liked the way that it looked. So right now I'm kind of just forming like an L shape, and I tend to use an L shape a lot. When I took Chamel's return to the collection class, that really helped me kind of learn the different designs patterns that you can do that are just basic. That, you know, middle L grid. I think she did a grid. And so she kind of talks about the different ways that you can use pictures on your on your page. And so I tend to use L a lot just because it's pretty simple. Now, I'm not going to go all the way up to the very top with my embellishments. Right now, you see me, I'm trying to figure out if I wanted to cut apart that cardstock that I had when I had painted the triangles. I did like check marks to mimic the one Amy Tan paper that she has that has like the check marks on it, or like the V's. And so I did something similar with that blue paper and gold acrylic paint. So I knew I wanted to use that with this because I really liked the color of that paper. It matches pretty close to the triangles. And I thought it would be just a fun way to kind of add my own twist to somebody else's collection. I know this year that is one of my like biggest goals, is that I can really add my own twist and add me to a collection, to um, a kit that I'm using. So I really want to work on making more backgrounds, making more pieces that are me and not just the designers themselves. And I think we all want to do that when we make a layout, right? We all want to have uh, to do something that's just a little bit different, so that someone can look at that and go, yeah, that's that person's layout, right? Because I mean, there's certain people that you look at their layouts and you know who did it just because of the way that it looks. And not that I want people to just say, oh, that's Hannah Lemieux's page. I I just want to know that I did something to make it more me. So, and I really find that challenging and fun when I do a layout. So I had did that, and so here I decided to pop out my photo, and I used the Amy Tan thrifted paper with the yellow. And it's funny because when I was looking through this kit, I was like, when would I ever use this yellow color? Because I'm not a big yellow fan. Um, but then I remembered the photos that my sister-in-law sent me from her wedding, and we wore yellow. She had canary yellow as like her color. And then I seen that paper and it just clicked that that would be perfect to kind of, bring out the color of our dresses. And so at the beginning I used Teresa Collins paper from Tinsel and Company. It's called Star Paper, and I used that because I really thought the gray just kind of off balance with the yellow, and it kind of makes the yellow stand out, because if I had just used the yellow at first, we would have that paper would have blended right in with all of our dresses, because we line, there's yellow on dresses on both side ends of the paper. So, or the picture. So here I cut apart some print and cuts from Scraptastic, and that's one thing that they've started doing the past few months, is giving cutouts and silhouette cuts and stuff like that, and print and cuts that you can print out at home. And I really like this because I mean, yeah, you have to use the ink at home or whatever, but it's just a fun way to add something a little bit different. And if you want to use it, you can. If you don't have to. And you can save it so you can use it more than once. So there was a speech bubble that said best little moments, and the color is pretty close to the color that I've used. So I put it up at that top, and I really like the way that it sat there. So I'm going to, I dropped something. I will let you know that since I moved my desk, there will probably be more hands on the outsides of my of Oh, I hadn't actually like took the paper off, so I decided I was gonna do that now. I decided I did like it there. That's my son's hand, I think. He's wearing his jacket. And they had the cutouts from their kit, and that was from like a couple of months ago, the one that says happy. And that's a Maggie Holmes tag. So I really liked that ampersand. And at this point I hadn't glued it down, so I wasn't sure, or did I? No, I hadn't. Here is where I decide, yes, I'm going to keep that there because I wasn't sure at first if I was going to. And that's the thing about layering that I think is the most difficult. Is sometimes at first, when you first put a few things, it doesn't look that great, but it's when you really start adding other things to it that it can look really nice. It's kind of like mixed media too. At first your page can look like really weird, but then once you start adding different textures and different papers and everything, when you're layering, that first couple of layers might not look that great just because you need more or you need to space it differently. So I am using some October Afternoon Daily Flash Alpha sticker alphas, and I love this font. It is meringue and storybook, and it's pretty much white. So I wouldn't say it's off-white, which they tend to do a lot of off-white. And I did mix white and off-white on my page, and I'm okay with that. I don't think I think that the creaminess of some of the off-white really balances out the white and the other colors. So I spelled beautiful out, and I'm gonna have my title be happy and beautiful, and then I'm gonna end up adding together later on. So, one thing that I also wanted to do a little bit more this year is kind of have my embellishments um, like together a little bit more. So I have this black container that I have used when I first started scrapping, and I kind of had it cluttered with other stuff in my other space, and so I had pulled it out because since I've been doing December Daily, I've had a couple of dishes of like just die cuts and stuff, and I really like having that handy because then I can just reach in and see what's in there. And it's kind of fun because you have different months or different packs together, and so that was kind of my thought, is that eventually stuff will just kind of live in there and I can just pick through, and it'll just be fun. So I'm going to use this gold and craft type washi tape that I have. So I'm going to be using that doily, and that is from the Scraptastic Kit, but that is actually from a few months ago. This month they gave us a teal and like a really bright yellow, and I didn't think it matched with the papers at all. So, and it really just didn't go with the color of the dresses. So I decided to use this other one that I had found from a few months ago, and it's a little bit lighter, and I really like the color of it, which is funny because I don't really care for doilies on pages too much. But I am using some washi tape next to it, and that is from a company called Little Bee, and it's gold and like a craft, and I really like it because you can see through it quite a bit, but I don't know, I really just like the gold. It's just really fun. So I really wanted to use that like stamp type wood piece from Scraptastic, and it just wasn't going to work. So I think I had already put that ampersand that had yellow, it was a yellow ampersand and then a pink on the side with the washi tape. And so I know that at some point I'm going to have to add pink. So, but right now I'm looking through the stitched stickers, and these are see-through, which are really fun. So I'm using some of the hearts. And at first I wasn't sure I wanted the heart there, that big heart there, but then I kind of decided that I kind of like it. It overlaps one of the stamp hearts that I had put on that one. And I think that's why I wasn't sure if I really wanted it. So I looked through my flare. Now, that is all of the flare that I have. I don't really have a lot of flare. Some months I will get an extra set of flare, which is nice. But and at first I was gonna use that cityscape because the colors match, but then I was like, I didn't think it really matched. So I'm looking through and trying to find some pink, and I got distracted and I seen the together with the vellum, and I really liked that, and I thought that that would really be just fun to add for my title. That's the one fun things about the words is that you can add it to your layout and it be part of your title, and it makes less work to have to use stickers and stuff. So I am just picking out some of the pieces that I think will go. And I haven't really used that many of the Maggie Homes. I probably because I've been doing a lot of December daily. So I have those three flare, and I'm kind of trying to decide between there's that tealy color flower, a black and gold like heart flare. And so I can't decide, so I'm just leaving them there and I'm just kind of looking through. And I keep trying to like figure out what pieces where I want to put things, and I go through a lot before I kind of decide. So I decide that I do want to use that slide because I like the dark. It kind of helps balance that stargazer paper, and it has a little bit of pink on it. So I like that because it's going to bring some pink over to that side because there is pink up in the other corner. And that is one thing that I try to do is have an element not just in one place. Sometimes it doesn't work, and sometimes you have a color and you just have it in one place, and that's okay. But this, I really wanted some pink throughout just because I thought it would help break up the other colors. So, so I did decide on that flower. I thought that that kind of worked the best. I mean, I could have painted over it and it would have worked, but I really liked the fact that there was the teal there. So I'm trying to decide because I want to put a dark element up in that corner because I don't have anything dark and I really want to bring a dark color just, but I didn't want a lot of dark. So that's why I cut that camera lens in half, and I liked how it looks. I mean, with the other layers, and I think at this point I had put the vellum arrows there. So the gold vellum. And so at this point, I just sprinkle some sequins. And at first, I was just going to use the sequins as my sprinkles or splatters. Um, but then I decided that I did want something else. And this time, I just took some out, and you see me, I just plopped it down. And that's kind of where it fell, is pretty much where I put them. There was a couple that I moved a little bit. And there's a group of three right above the title above beautiful that I kind of wish I'd moved around just a smidge, but I kind of like that it looks random. And so I will in a minute mix up some first I'm going to do my journaling, and I'm just doing a little bit in that tiny space up there, and I cut out cuz you've seen a lot of my head and you didn't need to see that. I'm having a bad hair day today. So I'm going to thin out some gold acrylic paint, like really thin. So I'm going to cover my picture. And I needed to add more because it just wasn't coming out. And I'm just using a paintbrush and I'm just going to flick it on. So I'm not going to get really big splatters, but I didn't want really big because I already have the sequins. So, and that's my daughter. She wanted to see what I was doing. And so that is going to be it. So you guys will see all the close-ups. And if you have any questions, go ahead and ask. And I hope you guys have a great new year. So I will talk to you guys later.